You once imagined the moment of your spiritual awakening would arrive like radiant sunlight breaking through clouds, a perfect clarity illuminating every corner of your existence. You believed that when truth finally revealed itself, your path would become unmistakably clear, your sense of purpose sharper than ever before. Yet when that anticipated moment truly unfolded, something unexpected happened. Instead of basking in vibrant clarity, you found yourself standing quietly at the edge of an immense inner emptiness, a silent, uncharted space stretching infinitely inward. Why is it that the awakening you longed for, the very clarity you chased for years, somehow erased the drive that once fueled your journey toward it? Have you ever paused long enough to ask yourself honestly, why do I feel so profoundly lost in the exact moment I finally see things as they truly are? Perhaps without even knowing, you've entered what Carl Jung gently described as enantiodromia, that mysterious turning point within the psyche, where your deepest motivations and extreme goals suddenly reverse direction. It's not a mistake, nor a failure. It's the quiet opening of a hidden space inside you, inviting you into a deeper truth. Yet still a quiet whisper lingers beneath this understanding. A subtle, unsettling question that you might be afraid to confront. What if the emptiness you fear is actually the very thing you've been seeking all along? When the familiar spark of your old motivations faded, perhaps you felt a quiet confusion settle in. What you once labeled as ambition, your goals, dreams, and pursuits, seemed suddenly distant, as if they belonged to someone else. The truth is, that's exactly what they were. Borrowed from a constructed self, a persona, built carefully over time to secure approval, recognition, and validation from those around you. Maybe you once chased after an ideal image, striving tirelessly to craft the perfect version of yourself for social media, carefully curating each photograph, each caption, each fragment of your life. But one quiet evening, as you looked deeply into the mirror of your own eyes, you sensed a hollow space behind that beautiful facade. It was then that the reality struck you gently but undeniably. The persona you'd nurtured and polished so attentively was merely a mask, a brilliantly convincing yet inherently empty role you'd learned to play. Like an actor who'd spent too many years performing on stage, you'd forgotten what your real voice sounded like, lost somewhere beneath scripts and costumes. Have you ever wondered, truly paused to wonder, whose life you've actually been living, if not your own? Carl Jung described this constructed self as the persona, the social mask we wear to present ourselves to the world, an identity often built on expectations and external validation. Beneath it, hidden yet alive, lies another dimension of your psyche, a realm Jung called the shadow. Here dwell your repressed truths, the hidden fears and desires you've unconsciously avoided, convinced they were incompatible with the person you felt compelled to portray. When your old motivations began collapsing, it wasn't failure, nor was it weakness. Rather, it was the profound recognition that these artificial goals no longer matched the deeper authenticity stirring within you. Your exhaustion was never from failing at your pursuits. It arose from the strain of constantly performing a role that no longer resonated with the person you were quietly becoming. What if this emptiness, rather than signaling defeat, is actually a sacred space? A pause not for retreat, but for transformation. Consider for a moment the chrysalis, the mysterious cocoon where a caterpillar dissolves entirely, surrendering its familiar form. In this seemingly passive and motionless state, the creature completely breaks down, shedding every last trace of its old identity. To an outsider, it might appear inactive or even lifeless, but within, an intricate, profound transformation is quietly taking place. This delicate moment, Jung believed, mirrors the process of individuation, a journey towards becoming who you truly are beneath societal expectations and personal illusions. The modern world struggles to honor this sacred pause, Our society is quick to label your stillness as apathy, your silence as laziness, your introspection as withdrawal. They assume you've abandoned your ambitions, lost your drive. But what if your quiet withdrawal is a profound act of courage, a deeper refusal to continue wearing a mask that no longer fits? Are you willing to allow yourself the gift of standing still, even when the world urges constant movement? Can you pause long enough to sense what might be gently beginning to awaken within you? This moment of quiet inner dissolution is not an ending, but a doorway. As your old ambitions fall away, the space they leave behind reveals an extraordinary opportunity, the chance to hear your true inner voice clearly for the first time. Within the quiet stillness of your internal chrysalis, your personal unconscious begins to whisper, softly at first, then louder, guiding you gently towards something far more genuine. Yet this space is not always comfortable. Sometimes it feels deeply unsettling, lonely even, filled with shadows you'd previously been too busy to notice. Those uneasy feelings, the anxiety, the sadness, the confusion, are not your enemies. Instead, they are messengers from your deeper self, offering you critical insights you've long avoided. This is what Jung called shadow work, the courageous act of facing and integrating the hidden parts of your psyche you've long rejected. Perhaps you've noticed that the emotions you once effortlessly suppressed in your busy days now emerge more powerfully in the quiet hours of the night. Without the noise of distraction, your inner darkness, your shadow, has room to breathe, to move closer, to finally be acknowledged. These are not experiences you must hide or bury deeper. They are invitations, quiet calls to integrate aspects of yourself that you've unconsciously abandoned. They're asking you to stop running, stop pretending, and simply begin to observe and listen. Can you recognize this emptiness not as an obstacle, but as a precious opportunity? A chance to clearly witness every feeling you've spent your life avoiding? Consider yourself standing before a mirror once again. Only this time, the reflection shows more than just your external appearance. It reveals hidden truths, unconscious fears, unmet needs, and buried dreams. This is your archetypal mirror, Jung's vision of the universal symbols and primal patterns dwelling deep within your unconscious. These archetypes help you reconnect with the inner landscapes you've always carried but rarely explored. They remind you that your discomfort, your longing, your quiet grief, they all hold profound meaning. Shadow work, then, is not punishment or criticism. It's compassionately witnessing your shadows, holding space for them, and gently integrating them back into yourself. It's learning to be whole again, not perfect. It's reclaiming the energy you've lost to pretending. It's coming home. Have you ever thought that this profound inner emptiness, this unsettling void you feel, is the very place that will finally allow you to see clearly all the things you've spent your entire life trying not to see? Right now, you stand at the threshold of true self-discovery. It is here, in the quiet aftermath of old ambitions, beneath the crumbling mask, and in direct confrontation with your shadow, that the journey of true individuation begins. It's not glamorous or effortless, but it is deeply sacred and profoundly real. And perhaps the greatest irony of all is this: the emptiness you once feared as loss might actually become the very birthplace of your deepest fulfillment. As you quietly sit with this newfound emptiness, a profound realization slowly emerges from beneath the surface of your confusion. What you once labeled as loss of motivation was never truly a loss at all. Rather, it was a subtle yet powerful shift, a profound alchemical transformation of your inner energy, from something externally validated to something inwardly authentic and deeply personal. You haven't lost your drive. You've simply outgrown the shallow source from which it once drew strength. Consider for a moment Carl Jung's deeply insightful notion of enantiodromia, the psychological phenomenon where any extreme pursuit inevitably transforms into its opposite. Your relentless striving, your restless chase for approval, your relentless hunger for external validation, they reached their peak, and at that tipping point, they quietly reversed into stillness. It is here, in this silent inversion, that the true depth of your soul finally finds room to emerge. Imagine a pendulum swinging furiously toward one side, success, recognition, achievement, only to suddenly swing back with equal intensity into the realm of silence, introspection, and apparent emptiness. From the outside, it looks like loss, like inertia, even despair. But beneath this surface stillness lies a sacred recalibration, a subtle yet extraordinary metamorphosis of your inner being. The quiet space you now inhabit is not stagnation, it is preparation. The silence you fear is not emptiness, it is a threshold to an entirely new dimension of inner truth. Have you ever considered that perhaps you were never truly driven by your own desires, but instead guided by expectations placed upon you? And now that the mask is removed, can you feel a different kind of energy gently awakening? A quiet, steady pulse, no longer dependent on external applause, but rather rooted in a deeper and quieter inner truth. Your soul has always known something that your persona long denied. True fulfillment is not loud or showy, not always bright or glamorous. Real inner purpose is quiet, steady, patient, far less dramatic than you once imagined. And this moment of emptiness, this apparent loss of motivation, is merely your psyche's powerful invitation to finally embrace that quiet truth within you. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a deep and still lake. All your life, you've thrown stones into the water, expecting ripples, movement, and action. But now, when you toss the stone, nothing happens. Just a silence, deep and unbroken. This is your moment of enantiodromia. This stillness is not failure or death. It's the pause before something authentic surfaces from the depths, something that no longer moves merely to satisfy the expectations of others, but rather arises organically from within your truest nature. Are you ready to embrace this silence? To allow yourself, perhaps for the very first time, to stop searching outward for answers and instead gently lean inward to listen for your soul's quiet, timeless wisdom? Your previous ambitions were loud, flashy, easily understood by others. They promised status, applause, and admiration. But beneath the dazzling exterior, they left you feeling hollow. Now as that facade crumbles, you find yourself in the company of truths, more humble yet infinitely more profound. These truths do not shout, they whisper. They do not demand, they invite. They are patient enough to wait until you become quiet enough to hear them clearly. Consider the seed buried deep within the soil. To the casual observer, the seed appears motionless, inactive. Yet beneath the ground, hidden from view, an incredible transformation is occurring. Quietly, without fanfare, it gathers strength, forms roots, and prepares itself for the slow, steady emergence toward the surface. Like the seed, your emptiness is not inertia, it is preparation. Your silence is not stagnation, it is profound inner growth. You may wonder, why does this feel so uncomfortable, even painful? Because real transformation is rarely comfortable. The truth emerging within you is stripped of illusions, bare of glamour, devoid of masks. It requires courage to face, patience to nurture, and humility to accept. It challenges everything you once believed about success, purpose, and meaning. Yet, if you can surrender to it fully, it promises you something extraordinary. A life no longer lived for others, but authentically and unmistakably your own. Have you considered that the discomfort you're feeling now might simply be the friction of shedding a skin you've outgrown? Could you give yourself permission to be uncertain, to wait patiently, to trust the silence until a deeper clarity naturally arises? Enantiodromia reminds you that extremes contain within themselves the seeds of their opposites. Your emptiness contains profound fullness. Your stillness contains true movement. Your silence carries the potential for your most authentic voice. This quiet reversal is your moment of deepest awakening. Your invitation to a genuine existence no longer defined by others' applause or expectations. You stand at the threshold of a new way of being, one that is gentle, humble, but powerfully authentic. The old fire of external motivation has faded not because you failed, but because you are ready for something far deeper, something unshakably real. Are you prepared to finally let go of the illusion that purpose must be loud and clear, that fulfillment must glitter in the spotlight? Are you willing to trust that your truest life purpose might be quiet, hidden within the silence, gently calling you toward a deeper kind of fulfillment than you ever dreamed possible? The emptiness you feared is the fertile ground from which the authentic you will blossom. The silence you've struggled against is the very thing guiding you toward your innermost truth. And so, here is the most crucial question you must now face, one that requires the bravery of deep honesty. Are you ready to embrace your inner truth, even if it no longer shines with the glamour you once expected, even if it whispers instead of shouts, even if it leads you down paths entirely unknown? You are not lost. You've simply reached the point where the masks you once wore no longer fit, and the illusions you clung to no longer comfort you. In truth, you've begun something profoundly sacred. The journey of returning home, returning to yourself. This emptiness, this silence you find unsettling, is the quiet voice of your soul inviting you inward, guiding you toward your authentic core. Can you allow yourself to trust this stillness, to see it not as uncertainty, but as the gentle beginning of profound clarity? Perhaps the most courageous step you can now take is to stand quietly in this moment and simply listen. Allow yourself one honest, compassionate minute to hear your innermost voice, to notice what arises naturally, without forcing or resisting. Let yourself feel whatever surfaces: relief, sadness, peace, uncertainty. Remember, there's no right or wrong here, only genuine awareness. When you're ready, I'd like to gently encourage you to share your truth below. What's the first insight or feeling that quietly emerged within you as this video came to an end? Your sharing might not only clarify your own understanding, but become a beacon of gentle reassurance for someone else who's quietly navigating their own sacred journey back to themselves. Remember, you don't need to rush. You don't need to have all the answers. The path back to yourself unfolds moment by moment, step by step, breath by breath. Trust this silence. It's here, in this quiet space, that your true story is beginning to be written. Are you ready to begin your journey inward,